Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be reading The Grasshopper and the Ants. This is illustrated by Jerry Pinkney. He also illustrated The Little Red Hen, which is another fable that we read earlier this week. Look very closely at his illustrations. He puts a lot of detail into his illustrations, and he has won several medals for his work. So remember, this is a fable, which means we're going to have talking animals in it. It's going to teach us a lesson, and it's a very, very old story, originally written by someone named Aesop. Oh, look at the beautiful, colorful illustration. I see lots of ants working. They're chopping down leaves and flowers and gathering up things. I see caterpillars working, and I see a grasshopper, and it looks like he's fishing. "Why work so hard?" sang Grasshopper. "It's spring and time to go fishing." "No time to relax," said the ants. "Why labor so long?" Grasshopper chirped. "It's summertime. Let's have a picnic of fresh, yummy leaves. Come join me in making music." "No summer light to waste," replied the ants. "Autumn will be here soon." "Why toil so steady?" asked Grasshopper. "It's fall, and the world is a playground of leaves. Oh, how their colors twirl and glide! Come dance and sing." I noticed that the grasshopper is a musician, and he would rather play his music than work like the ants. "Look at this wonderful mountain of leaves. Come play." Grasshopper is wanting to play. I don't notice any ants in this picture. I wonder where they've gone. And oh, how I love the sparkle of the first snow. Come see. Do you see anyone around? "Working can wait," Grasshopper said. "Winter is a time for snow angels and snow hoppers." "If only someone would join me." Grasshopper shivered. He must be getting cold. I noticed on the last 4 pages, there were no words, but I still learned a lot of information. I noticed that the grasshopper is out in the cold all by himself. I noticed that he sees the ant's house and he goes up. He knocks on the door and they think about answering, but they do not. Pause right here for a moment and discuss why you think they didn't let Grasshopper in. Now we can see Grasshopper walking away. How do you think he's feeling? This is a very special page because it flips up and we can see what's happening above ground. So this is above ground. We see Grasshopper, and he's sitting on his drum with his banjo over his head, protecting him from the snow. And all of the ants are inside. They are still working. They're warm. They're sorting their food, and they are getting ready to eat. I see some are spinning some yarn. Ants are hard workers. Can't help but notice how he must be feeling. His facial expression shows me a lot. Something exciting is happening. Do you notice? It's the queen ant. A cup of tea? Asked Queen Ant. How kind of you, said Grasshopper. And they welcomed him in. It looks like when they welcomed him in, he played music for them. And then they were both happy. Now I noticed that on the last 8 or so pages, there were no words. The author didn't add any more words to the rest of the story, but he left all of the illustrations to help us learn how the story ends. That's a very creative way to tell a story, almost like a comic book where you don't really have as many words. It's mostly about the pictures. And we still learned a lot from the grasshopper. Oftentimes at the end of a fable, they tell you what the moral of the story is, and they don't say that in here. But if I look at the very last page, there's an author's note from our illustrator, Jerry Pinkney, and I'm going to read you part of it. It says, "Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today." How appropriate the moral of the grasshopper and the ants is to an artist who has been pondering for many years how I might reimagine this beloved Aesop's fable. Somewhere down the road, maybe after I finish these other projects, I would think, not unlike Grasshopper, who as a musician is an artist in his own right. When I finally mentioned the idea to my editor, she responded with the think ahead spirit of the ants. How soon can you start? And so he tells us in his author's note the moral of this story, which is don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. Now I'm going to let you discuss this as a class, but I want you to think about the moral of this story, and I want you to think about how it can apply to your life. I hope you enjoyed this book.